So, folks, we got another Titans card review, and this one should be pretty quick because we've only got one card here, the final Titan to be revealed. It is Voltron Prime for Rogue. He is a 6-mana 3/5 mech, and his text reads, this minion's abilities repeat on another random friendly minion. So if you have another minion on board that these can repeat on, then you're kind of getting a 2-for-1 on each of these abilities, which for some is kind of crazy. Like, attach the cannons here. It's going to give a 2/1 buff to Voltron and potentially that other minion, and it's going to deal 4 damage to a random enemy. And that, of course, can go face. So theoretically, if you're ahead on board, you've got a minion that survived into turn 6. If your opponent is not able to get a minion into play, this could just be a straight up pyroblast to their face. Buffing +2 attack to something that can attack face, and then dealing 4 damage to their face twice, because there would be no other enemies on board. So I think there will be instances this is a 6-mana pyroblast that has crazy lethality and ends games. Other times, of course, if they do play a couple things, this might help you, chip up their board, clean up their board a little bit, maybe get like 4 damage to face and use 4 to clear a 3/3 or something. And you're not altogether unhappy about that either, because you've still developed some stats on things that are able to attack, and you've invested into your Voltron Prime, hopefully that it's, surviving or at least creating enough friction and threat that your opponent feels like they really have to deal with it. Now, if you don't have the perfect attach the cannons setup, I think the other 2 options here offer a little more flexibility. Maximize defenses is going to gain 3 health for Voltron Prime and can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. That would make this a 3/8 that could really stick around against a lot of different decks. If they don't have stuff on board to trade in and they're a deck that's relying on spell-based removal, very often Voltron Prime might just be guaranteed to live into the next turn, which could be a really nice setup. So certain matchups might call for that one, and then you could still maybe hit the attach the cannons later. And then you've also got full power here, which is going to gain +1/+2 and draw you a card. And obviously, if you got another minion, that's going to draw you 2 cards. So able to develop some stats on board potentially while still reloading the hand. That's pretty pricey for card draw, especially in Rogue, but you're doing other things with it and you're making an investment into the Voltron Prime setup for later. So it might still be turns where that feels pretty good. So 3 pretty distinct options. I definitely think attach the cannons is the most exciting of the options, the most lethal, the most synergistic with a lot of Rogue game plans, which are often to go fast and try to kill the opponent. This feels like this could be the top end of a more aggressively focused list. If there's a Rogue deck that's able to stick minions enough for this to make sense, Voltron Prime feels like a really, really good follow-up in those cases, because a lot of the time opponents who are playing from behind are often using like rush minions or spells to try to keep up. They don't stick stuff on board. They might leave behind a little thing, even just a little 1-drop, a single 1/1 left behind suddenly becomes much more threatening with Voltron Prime, because it's turning into not only that +2 damage buff, but its survival alone means you're taking an extra 4 damage. So pretty crazy in that case. And I think that's why most decks will run Voltron Prime. When you look at the other 2, I don't think you're as excited. Those definitely feel more like backup plans to me. Not the like focus or goal, but just occasionally it's like, okay, attach the cannons doesn't feel very good here, so I'm going to go with these instead. Now, ultimately, this is not the kind of Titan I'm personally interested in. I like the big, crazy, greedy Titans. I want endless value, big numbers, crazy plays. This feels a little more honest, a little more like tempo driven, a little more straightforward, just kind of stat plays, no crazy scaling or game ending. Well, maybe game ending lethal stuff, but maybe not long tail win condition sorts of cards like Sargeras making the portal and grinding out imps forever. I love that style of play, but that doesn't mean Voltron Prime's going to be bad just because it's not my favorite or a card I'm not as excited about. I think attach the cannons in particular looks really scary and will probably be an excuse for a deck here and there to make good work and good use out of the Voltron Prime here. So in many ways, being lower cost and more board centric and more aggressive is probably a good sign for this card. Some of these really expensive ones might actually have a hard time getting played, whereas something like this is probably a little bit more reliable. So less flashy, less exciting, but maybe in a lot of ways just better. So I do think this card looks like it's going to be pretty good, if not the most exciting or most interesting Titan to me. Voltron Prime is a 4-star card. And there you go. Those are the 11 Titans of Hearthstone. They've all been revealed, which means I'll probably do like a ranking video or something here soon if I can find time to squeeze that in. That'd be fun to see which of these Titans I think is going to be the most impactful and most powerful. It's not Warrior. I'll tell you that. Other than that, I got some decisions to make. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this card. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the entire assortment of Titans now that we've seen them all. Which ones do you think are going to stand out the most and be the best? That said, thanks so much as always for watching. Stay tuned for more normal card reviews. We still got a ton of cards to look at in Titans. Those will be coming out, I think, in a few days. They start up again. So stay tuned for those. Thanks for watching. And until next time, game on.